I'm Samantha Harden, a 500-hour registered yoga teacher, and I'm going to be leading us in a 35-minute flow. Standing at the top of your mat, bring your palms out by the side. Middle finger reaching towards the ground, squeezing the shoulder blades together, perhaps broadening across the chest. Lift all of the toes, separate the toes, and then plant the feet back down. Engage the quads by thinking about pressing the legs back and lifting the knees up. Engage the lower abdominals and broaden across the chest. Bring the crown of the head 1 inch higher and stand in your full mountain pose. We'll start standing from this Tadasana or mountain pose where you can perhaps close the eyes or gently gaze in front of you as you come into this present moment. Notice what you notice. Perhaps the temperature or a sound or a sight nearby or a distraction. And then just let that fade away. Let that surrender down into the ground as you continue to stay in your mountain pose. This posture is available whenever you need to feel strong and rooted and grounded. Stay here and start to inhale a little more deeply. And exhale a little more sweetly. Kind surrender. Staying here with the palms down and active to engage the arms, or left hand on heart and right hand on belly. And then noticing the rise and the fall of your palms. Noticing the subtle changes in your breath and your heart rate. And staying here with your soft gaze or eyes closed for 2 more breaths without your voice. Staying here or on your next inhale, bringing palms together or palms back down by the side to set your intention, something present and positive that you need to carry you through the next hour, the next day, and the rest of your life. Something that you can cultivate through your strength because you are already enough in all of your glory, standing right here, right now. Draw the breath in. Release the breath out. Keeping the eyes closed or perhaps opening them up, we'll start our flow. As we inhale, reach the arms up overhead, sink the hips low. So the chest is still lifted and the hips are aiming towards the ground. Bringing the knees back to be about at the middle of your foot and reach the arms up overhead. And we'll just find a little bit of our standing vinyasa. Vinyasa is just a place with intention. So finding our chair pose and then coming back to mountain pose. 3 more just like this. Sink low and stand. Sink low and stand. Last time, sink low and stand. Inhale, swim the arms up overhead, binding around the forearm of your left arm and reach up and hinge over. Press into your left foot and then press your left hips out. Gaze can be at the elbow crease or forward or down, whatever feels good in your neck. Maybe you try one of each as you create more space in the side body and strength in the right side body that's holding you up. So length and strength. Inhale, lift, exhale, bend. 1 more breath cycle, inhale, exhale, sink. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, return to Tadasana, pull the shoulder blades together. Just notice what you notice, maybe an echo of blood rushing through the side of the body. And then we'll find that moving meditation one more time. Sink it low into chair and lift back up. Sink it low and lift. Sink it low and lift. Last time, sink it low to hold. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Inhale, rise up and take your lean to the other side. So for me, right arm is reaching up and hinging over. Pressing into the standing leg, pressing the hips out, lifting and lowering. On every inhale, Fill the torso, and on every exhale, hinge to the side. Gaze can be wherever's comfortable, and try to bring the shoulders in line with each other. So checking in if one shoulder is forward or back, and bring them together as you hinge. Whatever shape you're taking, the breath flowing through and subtly is the most important part. So find your breath, and inhale, reach it back up, and exhale, hands come by the side. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears, behind you and down, and then reverse. Bring the shoulders behind you, up towards the ears and down. One more moving meditation to warm up our ankles and knees. Slowly lower, and then come back to Tadasana. 3 more times, lower. Maybe you're finding a little bit more range of motion in the ankles, the knees, and the hips. And lower, and rise. We'll start to flow even more now. So inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, sink the hips back. Hands can come together at heart center. Press your weight into your right standing foot. Left foot reaches behind you. Drop the heel to the ground. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Maybe the palms come together. If the shoulders are tight, arms can be wide apart. Finding a neutral spine for just one more breath. Press into your feet. Liberate your upper body by reaching up as though it could float away from your lower body. Inhale, reach. Exhale, swim the arms out. Find your warrior 2. Maybe taking an adjustment so that your front foot is towards 12 o'clock and your back foot is angled as it feels good for you in your pelvis. Arms reach out, shoulders over the hips. Gaze can be forward and strong, active in the fingers. Stay here. Deep breath in. Exhale, sink 1 inch deeper. Flip the front right palm and reverse as the left hand walks down the left leg. Find a little bit more of that lateral lunge, and then exhale, come right back into your warrior 2. 4 more just like this, perhaps holding if that feels good for you, or moving through the moving meditation if that feels more appropriate. So if you stay still, it's going to be more of a strength training move. If you keep it moving, it's going to be more of a cardio move. Your choice today and always. Come back to warrior 2. Now we're going to engage the abdominals. Right forearm to right thigh, reach the left arm up overhead, and then come back through your warrior 2. 4 more just like this, coming down and lifting up. If you want to challenge, you can reach your right hand forward instead of dropping your forearm onto the ground. Finding a little bit more of our heat, our fire in our moving meditation. Let's plunge 1 inch deeper if that feels good. Checking in that you can lift your toes. You're going for a 90-degree angle in the front thigh, but it's burning, it's ready. And we're going to combine everything we just did. So from warrior 2, flip the front palm and reverse. Come through warrior 2 and hinge forward into side angle. And then you can sit here and stop along the way, finding each posture or making it a little bit more fluid. We'll take a couple of moments without my cueing. Maybe you close your eyes or you find a soft gaze and just feel into the work as you need. And when you're ready, we'll all meet back in warrior 2, really feeling the strength, feeling that right thigh fire up, and then straighten the leg, pivot the toes so all of the toes are facing towards the front of the room or towards the long end of your mat, and inhale, broaden across the chest. Flip the palms towards the sky, the thumbs are behind you, engage the lower abdominals, and then wing the arms back. I'm feeling this as a stretch across the front of my chest. Perhaps you are too, or maybe you're feeling it somewhere else. We're here for 2 more breaths. Lift and open, and exhale, surrender. 1 more breath, inhale. Exhale. Flip the palms back down, pivot the back left foot towards 12 o'clock, or I guess 6 o'clock now that we're at the back of the mat. Maybe you widen your stance and we come back into our warrior 2 variation. Sink it low, stay here, active in the fingertips, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Maybe think about stretching your mat across and apart. We'll stay 1 more deep breath in and 1 more deep breath out. Don't worry, we'll get to the other side. We're just transitioning now. We're coming back through the center, but instead of the toes facing the edge, they're going towards a 45-degree angle, and sink the hips as low as you want. I'll encourage you to lift the lower belly and drop the hips low. Again, thinking about rooted and grounded in the low body and lifted and open in the upper body. Maybe you start to find some intuitive movement as you sway back and forth. Maybe you want to dip one shoulder and then the other, or maybe you want to find stillness. We're here for 4 deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Perhaps noticing how the thighs feel different from one that already did your full Warrior 2 sequence or not. Just staying with the sensations, sinking the hips and lifting the chest. One more deep breath in, maybe sinking a little lower. Then reach the arms out, pivot back to your Warrior 2, lunge low, and then swim the back arm up and the back heel up. So now you're in high crescent lunge facing the front of the room. Option to just step to the top of the mat or bring hands together at heart center. Drop the torso towards the thigh and slowly start to lift up and out into your Warrior 3 variation. Hands can be on blocks here, a great place to find stability. Hands can rest on the wall in front of you or to the side of you, or hands at heart center, winging forward or back. Slight bend in the standing leg to find a little bit of stability, and kick through the back heel, squaring the hip down, active in the toes. One more breath here, big work. And exhale, release the left foot to the top of the mat. Find a chair pose, sink the hips low. We're not gonna let that right thigh have a little break just yet. Sink the hips low, rise up to Tadasana. Sink it low, Tadasana. Twice more just like this. Find your deepest expression that you need today. One more breath. Lower, lift, come to Tadasana. Maybe closing the eyes, left hand on heart, right hand on belly. Noticing what you notice. Perhaps a change in your heart rate, your breath, sweat, whatever you notice. Maybe a little bit more joy and movement. And now we're going to take it to the other side. So I am going to pivot towards the back of my room just so that I can face you. Feel free to do the same, or you can just step back from the top of your mat. We're going to take it to the other side as we sink our hips low and lift our hands high. And then exhale, come to Tadasana. Twice more just like this, just to find our moving meditation without those chaturangas. So it's still a vinyasa because we're doing this with intention and integrity. Hands can come to the heart center or the hip, and we're going to take our Warrior 1 on the other side. So giant step back with the right foot, lunging into the left foot. Back heel down, hips are squared towards the front of the room. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Arms can be at a V if the shoulders are tight, or palms can come together. Really activate the back right gluteus to give your leg a little bit more space to lunge deeper into your left leg. One more breath here, deep breath in. And then deep breath out. And then we're gonna open up to Warrior 2. So pivot so that your back leg gives your hips as much space as you need. Looking at your toes, you can see your big toe and your second toe, and your knee is headed towards the back of the room or behind you. Spread wide across the arms, sink it low. Stay here, one deep breath in, and one deep breath out. And we'll find another moving meditation. Flip the front left palm, reverse your Warrior, right hand comes down the thigh, and then coming back to Warrior 2. 3 more just like this, reaching up and back, and out to Warrior 2. Twice more on your own breath without my cueing. And we'll all meet back in Warrior 2, nice and strong, and we'll change it up. Activation on the side body. Left forearm to the left thigh, reach the right arm high. Maybe you're feeling a bit of a stretch in the back leg as well. Come back to Warrior 2. Twice more just like this. Lunging down, reaching up, squeeze the shoulder blades together and press it back and out. Last time, maybe you do the challenge with your left arm forward, feeling that the activation's in the abdominals. Reach back, settle into your warrior two. Now we know where we're going. We're just moving from a reverse warrior into warrior two, into side angle. So feel free to continue to stop along the way, one breath per movement, or finding a little bit more fluidity as you move through each of those stops. We'll do 2 more full breath cycles. Maybe it's 4 more breath cycles for you, or just 1 more, but we'll all meet back in our warrior two. Last round for me, and I'll meet you in warrior two. Sink it low. Oh yeah. Breathe. Straighten the front leg and bring all of the toes towards the front of the room. Knife edge of the feet is towards the short ends of your mat. Inhale, reach the arms up wide. And instead of taking the chest opener, we're gonna take a back opener this time. So from our wide legs, we'll bring our arms in front of us, stack one elbow on top of the other, and draw the elbows away from us so that we're mushrooming or protracting the upper back. From here, we can lift the elbows high and then exhale, bring the elbows down. If you'd like to take an eagle wrap, single or double wrap, feel free, as we just find a little bit of our moving meditation. Nice more just like this. This feels great in my low back even though I'm really stretching my upper back. I can also feel the movement echoing in my lower back. Exhale, release. Come back on center, reach the arms up overhead, stay here, or if it feels good, come to the toes, so the ball mounds of your feet, lifting up, active through the thighs, squeezing the glutes together, take up space, and then exhale, lower, and take it to the other side. So stacking one elbow on top of the other, bringing the elbows away from the nose, and finding your flexion and extension of the spine. Arms can be in full or single bind, or just keep the elbows stacked as you lift and exhale, lower. 3 more just like this. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 1 more full breath cycle. Inhale, lift, and lower. Unwind. Reach up, find your star, reach the chest, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the thighs, maybe rising up onto the toe tips. Not the toe tips, the ball mounds. If you've got toe tips, that's great. You may have been a ballerina. And then slowly lower. We'll bring the toes out to 45-degree angle in both feet. And then sink the hips low. 1 more time. And staying here. Again, maybe finding a little bit of movement. Maybe you want hip circles in one direction and then the other. Maybe you want complete stillness or activation. You might even find those eagle arms. Do what serves you. 1 more deep breath in and out. If you have the bind in one direction, take it in the other. We'll stay here 3 more breaths so that you can even out your movement. I like to find hip circles because I find that I sit still for so much of my time that just a little bit of movement and rotation goes a long way to fire up my hips, find a little bit of range of motion and mobility, and then a little bit of strength through the hold. We'll all come back by pivoting the front foot towards the front of the room. Find your warrior two. Sink the hips low, reach the arms wide, and then swim the back. So I'm going to come back to facing the front of the room to come into the high crescent. So the back heel is lifted, the hips are squared towards the front of the room or the back of the room, depending on where you are. But left leg is forward or the opposite of the other side. Hands can come to heart center or wing behind you. Again, option 1 is to just step the back foot forward. Option 2 is to lunge the torso forward and start to lift the back leg. Maybe you step it up multiple times before it reaches behind you. Hips are squared towards the room. Back heel is towards the sky. Toes are towards the ground. Slight bend in the standing leg or giant bend in the standing leg, whatever's calling to you today. Let's go for 2 more breaths without my distraction. Inhale deeply. transition. Both knees bend generously. Come to your chair pose. Sink the hips low. Lift the chest high. And then stand in your Tadasana. Keep it moving. Sink the hips low. Lift the chest high. Stand. Sink the hips low. Lift the chest high. Last time. Sink it low and hold. Lift the chest, sink the hips. And from here we'll transition to the mat. So continue to sink the hips low. An option to plant the hands, bend the knees generously and come into your Navasana or boat pose, or from your chair pose, just keep lowering, finding that range of motion in the heels and then lifting. We'll set up multiple ways to get into our boat pose. So seated here, lifting the chest, engaging the abdominals, feet on the ground, great place to be. Maybe one foot lifts, maybe the other. Maybe the shins come parallel to the ground. Maybe the arms reach forward. Maybe the toes reach up. Maybe you try one of those and it didn't work for you and you be gentle with yourself and come back out. We're here for 3 more breaths, finding our smooth inhale and our long exhale. Twice more just like this. Inhale. We're doing the work, but we're finding that balance of effort and ease. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Drop the feet to the floor. Bind around the shins or the knees, maybe dropping the chin towards the chest. Finding a stretch in the upper back, maybe in the neck. Settling the breath. Inhale, rise up. Separate the feet hip distance apart, and the hands can come behind the thigh. Inhale, lift the chest just like a cow pose, and exhale, press the back body behind you like a cat pose. Twice more just like this. Inhale, lift. And exhale, press. Inhale, lift. And exhale, press. Then slowly lower all the way onto the back, drawing the heels close in towards the glutes. And then find that same rock and roll of the pelvis that we just did. It's going to be really subtle, so think about creating space under your back, and then exhale, pressing that space away. Inhale, create space under the back, and exhale, press that space away. A couple more postures for a little bit of activation and strengthening. If you're already cooked and you're done for a little bit more of the activation and you're waiting for a couple more stretches, feel free to take the feet mat distance apart and drop the knees in, hand to the heart and hand to the belly, and just settle and notice what you notice. If you want a couple more opportunities to fire it up, bring the heels close to the glutes, hands by your side, and then press into the feet as you lift the hips, trying to get them in line with the knees. So they might not be in line, but you're trying to remove the crease of the bum from where the tops of the thighs are as you lift and press. So it's really a heart opener just from a different variation. So option 1 is to stay here, inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. So you're activating, pressing into the heels, lifting high and lowering down. If you'd like a little bit more, you can press into your left foot as you reach your right leg up overhead and slowly dip the hips low and lift back up. Let's go for 4 more on the right side. So maybe you're taking it with the leg lifted or not. Both are great. Just keep the pelvis moving, keep the breath moving. Last time, lift, slowly lower the right foot, lift the hips high, and then slowly lower. So we'll keep going 4 more times. So maybe you're finding it with the right foot pressed into the ground, left leg high, lower the hips, and lift up. Slowly lower and lift. So the leg is far away from the torso and active in the toes. Maybe the leg is bent just to give you a little bit more or a little bit less. And lift and lower the left foot, slowly lower. And then we'll all walk the knees out or the feet out wide and let the knees rest in towards each other. Hands can be by the side or left hand on heart, right hand on belly, and noticing what you notice. So a little bit of activation and movement. A few quiet moments to yourself. I'll pause here for 2 breaths without my cues. I'll invite you to roll over onto whatever side body is calling to you, and then gently press up into a seated position as you're ready. This might be a great place to roll a towel, a blanket, a pillow, or even if you have a bolster, a great place to give you a little bit of lift and length so that your hips can release out to the side. So for me, I'm gonna grab a little blanket I have. Some folks have really great ways of folding and being very purposeful. And you can also just make it look a little bit like a beach towel and then throw it behind your hips as you lift up. So just as we did in our standing postures, think about rooted in the lower body and lifted in the upper body. Hands can plant on the thighs, or fingertips can come together and hands can rest in the lap. Rolling the shoulders up, down, and back, and then engaging the abdominals to find a neutral spine. Chin is parallel to the ground and the crown of the head is lifting up and out. Finding your easy seated posture, but it's also like a seated Tadasana. Intentional, stacked, purposeful, and strong. One more deep breath here as we settle from our movement from standing to floor to seated. And exhale, let it go. Keeping the legs crossed if you like, plant the hands by your hips. Inhale, reach your left arm up and over. Left shoulder towards the left ear, and then hinge to the side. Just as we did from standing, find length from hip tip to fingertip. Gaze can be forward, up, or looking at the elbow crease, whatever feels good for you. Maybe it feels good to even look down. Long breath in, and exhale, hinge a little deeper. Inhale, back on center, and exhale, cactus the arms. Stay here, squeezing the shoulder blades together, pulling down like you have a lap bar, or finding a moving meditation as you inhale, reach. Exhale, pull it down and in. Twice more, inhale, reach. Exhale, pull it down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull it down. Rest. Hands can come by the side. Maybe notice what you notice. An echo of activity, blood flow, heat. Breathe it in and let it go. Planting the hands by your side one more time. Left hand can stay rooted, right arm reaches up, right shoulder closer towards the ear, and then hinge to the side. Length from the hip bone to the fingertips, and then find your variation. We're here for 3 full breaths, so open and hinge. Maybe you're inchworming a little bit closer, maybe you're staying upright, but you're just staying with your breath and the sensations. Deep breath in, long breath out. Using the strength of your core, lift back up, inhale, arms up overhead. And then exhale, hands come behind you. Maybe take the opposite bind of the feet if you have one foot in front of the other, and reach the arms behind you. This might be a great place to have a scarf or a strap or a belt. I'm going to turn to the side to show, and then I'll turn to the back as well. You're just reaching behind you, and maybe the fingertips interlace, maybe the palms come together, but you might have a strap, a scarf, or a belt to help you find a little bit of activation as you reach the hands towards each other. Just opening across the chest in whatever way is serving you as you lift the chest away and pull the fist down by the side. Now using that assist or just the palms together, bringing the fist out to your right hip. Wing the right arm behind you and inhale, lift the head, neck, and chest. We'll tilt right ear towards right shoulder, feeling a stretch along the left side of the neck. Then trace your collarbone with your chin, let the chin drop, and take it to the other side, left ear towards left shoulder. Some of you may feel more tension or more release on one side or the other, so feel free to let the head drop and take a breath or two on each side, or just keep holding. Maybe you even take a full circle in one direction and the other. Whatever feels appropriate for you today. We'll meet back up center and then switch it to the other side. Maybe taking the opposite bind of the fingers, winging the left arm behind you, inhale, reaching tall, and exhale, left ear to left shoulder, feeling the stretch across the right side of the neck. Breathe. Then exhale, let the chin trace the collarbone and come to the other side. One deep breath in and out. And then find your own intuitive movement for a couple of breaths. Maybe it's big circles, maybe it's semicircles, maybe one side or the other felt better, so staying there, allowing that to be. And then release the palms behind you, and then release the palms to the thighs. Again, palms can come to the thighs or they can rest in the lap, whatever feels better for you. And we'll close with a breath practice of envisioning a square. You could also call it box breathing, envisioning a box or a square or a four-sided item. So as you inhale, you'll draw a line up, and you'll exhale, draw a line across. Inhale, draw a line down, and exhale, draw a line across. We'll stay like that for 3 more breaths, perhaps even using your fingertip to assist. 3 more times like this, maybe continuing to draw the box with your finger, maybe starting to visualize the box with your eyes closed, maybe not using your finger, whatever works for you, just inhaling and exhaling. Last time here, so continue with the inhale, exhale, or as you draw the line up, inhale, and as you come across, hold your breath, and on the exhale, come down the side of the box, hold your breath, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. So keep working like this with the inhale and the exhale, or inhale and exhaling across your entire 4-square box breath. Last time. And release. Maybe rolling out the shoulder if you were drawing your boxes. Maybe gently gazing 3 feet in front of you or down your nose, or closing the eyes, rolling the shoulders back, open in the heart, rooted and grounded in the lower body. Perhaps returning to your intention that you set and revisited throughout your physical practice, maybe it gave way for something else that you need to focus on right here, right now. I love this practice for what it can provide for my body, but also what's more important to me is how it can relax my mind, build community, and let me believe in a power greater than myself that I can continue to turn to, whether I'm on the mat or standing in the grocery store line or sitting in my desk at work. I am the culmination of all my experiences, and I am already enough. Perhaps saying that to yourself in your still small voice as well, perhaps centering on your third eye. I am already enough. Bowing your head in gratitude to you, for taking time to practice, and then perhaps gently fluttering the eyes open, noticing all the colors and textures that surround you. Lift the chin up and may be able to greet your space, even if there's a stack of things you need to put away, with a new sense of groundedness, of open-heartedness, and of gratitude. Thank you so much for practicing. I hope you learned a quick and easy way to move your body that doesn't involve chaturangas, but could still get you into a little bit of aerobic activity as well as strength training. Thank you so much for joining, and please come back.